Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video. We're going to be talking about Call of Duty Vanguard, and I'm going to be giving you my opinion of the current state of the game. Specifically talking about one individual thing that I think has caused the biggest problems for Call of Duty Vanguard. Because all in all, I don't think the game is bad whatsoever. I think they put together a game that plays nicely, the movement feels good, the weapons overall feel decent. But I think there is a big problem psychologically with this game that has made it so that players have been dropping off faster than any Call of Duty game in recent history. And yes, the numbers from Activision and from Blizzard have supported exactly what I am saying. Now, I'm going to be doing this video in a different way. I put this opinion out there on Twitter about a week ago, and then you guys kind of piped in and gave me your opinions on the game and kind of what you were thinking regarding this as well. So not only am I going to be giving you my opinion, I'm also going to be giving you some members of the community's opinion as well, and I'm going to try to do this more often. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, maybe be involved in a future video, check out my Twitter, linked down below, down in the description. But without further ado, I'm going to hop in, give you my opinion, explain it to you, and then also pipe in some opinions from the community as well. So without further ado, here's what I had to say. So I want you to keep in mind that this is my opinion, and you are more than welcome to disagree with it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but this is what I had to say. Really been trying to play and thinking about Vanguard. The game isn't bad at all. However, its big mistake is that playing it, leveling weapons, and progression doesn't feel rewarding. It feels like a chore. I think there is a fine line to walk with that. What are your thoughts? So essentially, what I was getting at with this is there is two parts of the progression in Call of Duty Vanguard that just don't feel good to me. First of all, leveling weapons, and then the second one is the overall progression and level system, how it gets reset every single season. You get set back to rank 0, and essentially everything you've done, they haven't really given you any rewards or reason to actually level up all the way to level 200 or even further after that. The old system where you had the constant prestige, you could level up through it all, and you could show what you've kind of earned throughout this, in my opinion, is a little bit better, but still isn't perfect whatsoever. I still think that could be refined in a way better way, and if you have ideas about that, let me know what you think down in the comments. However, my real gripe with the game has to do with weapon leveling. The way that they've designed this game is that weapons are king. They've released a ton of them, there's a ton of weapons to level up, and each weapon has a ton of levels with a ton of attachments. 70 attachments on a lot of these weapons. Now, first of all, it takes a very long time to level up these weapons in game, hours and hours and hours. And a lot of you who watch my videos may not know this, but Call of Duty is a game that is designed for casual players who can hop in, play the game for an hour, maybe 2 a night, and then kind of hop off. If you're one of those players, it is next to impossible to have all of the weapons you want leveled up. And I will tell you right now, I don't have all of the weapons leveled up in game. So yeah, it takes a really long time to level up weapons, and it doesn't feel rewarding doing so. If I hop on for an hour a night and basically make 10 levels of progression on a weapon, I'm not even a 7th of the way through that weapon, and levels get longer and longer. But that's not what I think the biggest problem is. The biggest problem is that with all of these attachments, 90% of them don't matter. It doesn't matter that each weapon has 15 different types of sights when only 2 of them are actually used. It doesn't matter that it has 6 different barrels when 2 of them are only viable options. Why have these attachments in game and levels that you have to progress through and ranks you have to get and attachments you have to grind for if no one is actually using them? They are just filler, it bloats the game, and they are pointless to actually have and grind for. Now, this isn't a new problem for Call of Duty. Some people complained about this back in Modern Warfare 2019, when the grind wasn't even nearly as long as it is now. Now, not to mention that there's also weapon camos that you can grind for as well. And one of the suggestions that someone tweeted at me, we'll get to in a minute, I think is really good in regards to that. Now, this isn't even to mention the fact that I think most players are currently playing Call of Duty not for Vanguard, but rather Warzone. And when these new weapons come out, and they're some of the best weapons in the game, they have to then go and level up these weapons, unlock them, things along those lines. And that takes time. And I think it's actually stopping people, and the barrier to entry of Warzone is now too high because there's so many weapons that you have to level. There's over 200 weapons in the game now, over various different games, that take a very long time to level, some of them upwards of 10 hours for an individual weapon. And that is a very big problem. Now, some people level them up in Warzone and only level specific weapons, and that is why the meta is so hard on certain weapons. When someone has one leveled up and has the right attachments, they don't want to move on from that. And I think that's the biggest problem. The progression should feel rewarding. It shouldn't feel like a chore. So that's my opinion. You can let me know what you think of it down in the comments, but I want to give you some other people's opinion and talk about what they have to say as well. So Axis Rot responded, and he was one of the first people to respond, and he said that they should make weapon level progression take lesser time to max out, but those who want to grind camos make the challenges as Cold War has. It was much more rewarding for time put in. And I agree with that. I think there should be something out there available for people who want to grind the game and have the time and want to do all of that. But I think the average player still should be able to hop in the game for a limited amount of time, level up their weapons, get new things, and get rewarding things at that. I think that's a very solid point, but there still should be something for those grinders to actually grind out. After this, we have Ty Hill saying something very, very similar. He says, I'm honestly really sick of the time it takes to make a weapon usable. I think that's a very good point. Before you level up the weapon to like level 50, the weapon is very difficult to use in a lot of circumstances, particularly in Warzone. It's tough to enjoy the game when you have less than 10 hours a week to play and you spend time leveling instead of actually enjoying the game. I think this is probably the best point someone could make. When I hop in a game, especially if you only have 10 hours a week, a lot of people have even less than that. They want to hop in, they want to have fun, they want to enjoy the game. But when all of that time is set to leveling weapons and doing so is a grind, people aren't actually enjoying the game anymore. They're just grinding it out. FPS Cannon Fodder says a very similar thing. It's the reason I stopped playing Vanguard and barely play Warzone. It's a grinder's game, and I don't have time to grind. So again, that's that barrier of entry, having to grind it out to just be able to play and compete at a decent level. Then we have Robotnik with something very different, a bunch of question marks, saying it takes 30 minutes, an hour tops to max a gun with double XP tokens on shipment. Personally, not my experience. It takes much longer than that for me, but this guy must be cracked out of his mind. If you have a similar experience, let me know down in the comments. Then we have Zeus touching on something a little bit different. I went from trying to get all of the camos to not playing in a week and haven't touched the game since December. Also not a fan of the prestige system. Once you get past a certain part, there really isn't a motivation to continue until it resets. Let me play at my pace. I get that, and I completely agree with that. Even to me, even before the reset, I don't really care if I hit rank 200. It doesn't make any difference for me and doesn't reward me in any meaningful way. At least that's what I personally think. Some people may disagree with that. The original game, when it comes out and you level up and you unlock all of the weapons, it feels good. It feels rewarding. You're unlocking things, you're getting new things. But after that, it's just a grind, and a pointless grind at that. Now, there's a ton of other comments and a ton of other things on Twitter with people saying various different things regarding the game itself, the way it plays, how it's a World War II game, and they don't find that very interesting. And I think all of those are valid points. But other people are saying that 10 attachments was also a huge mistake. Guns don't feel unique and the progression is tiresome. I think this falls into what I said with them just having too many attachments. They don't actually make a big enough difference on your weapon, and unlocking them doesn't feel rewarding. By decreasing the amount of weapon levels, still having weapon levels, I think that is fantastic. And a bunch and a good amount of attachments that actually make meaningful changes, I think actually does a lot more for the game than simply adding bloat and adding too many attachments. And that is what we have seen over and over again for the past 3 games. The amount of attachments is getting bigger and bigger, Gunsmith getting bigger and bigger. But reportedly with Modern Warfare 2, that won't be quite the case. There's going to be different ways of leveling weapons, like the weapon trees that we've talked about. There's going to be, I heard, less levels. We'll have to wait to see on that for sure. And on top of that, they're going to be more meaningful because you're actually able to adjust your attachments and the stats on the attachments themselves. So that's the opinions that we have today. I'm curious what you think. Let me know down in the comments. I just wanted to put this out there, get your opinions on it. As I said at the beginning, if you want to be involved in a video like this, be sure to check out my Twitter link down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making